So pretty much, I wanted to get caught up because yesterday I was supposed to, and I didn't get a chance to do it live. And so, because yesterday was just crazy, but today is much better now. So what I intend to do is kind of give you guys a heads up at what happened yesterday, and pretty much get home before the rain gets too much. So yeah, so I'm going to take you on a little trip with me here. And the trip is going to be, I'm here at the airport. Let's take the stairs. This little bit of stuff. Wait. I need the ambient noise to work with me here. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so what happens is this, right? Let me just give you a heads up. I want to say thank you so much for being here today, everybody who's listening. I'm going to walk down a flight of stairs right now, and hopefully I don't fall down the flight of stairs before the camera so you guys see what I'm doing. It's the flight of stairs right here. And so what we're talking about here is the fact that whenever, Thursday comes around, I have a million things coming at me. Like Thursday is like one of those really important days. I had like before I get started working this job, I had a thing where I was just like, I had more Thursdays that was set apart, and then we had the car and the other car and stuff like that too. But anyway, so let me tell you what happened. Yesterday, I got a chance to go to the Museum of Natural History, which is like one of my favorite places. And Museum of Natural History, I'll say it again for those who didn't hear me. It's a museum here in New York, one of the famous ones. They actually had the Night of the Museum movie in honor of that, but they called it the National Museum of History instead of the American Museum of Natural History. Yeah. So anyway, so what happens is like they wanted to protect the name of it, but they had a T-Rex. And so long story short, what ended up happening was that you have this thing where, for the most part though, you're kind of like put with having to make a decision about stuff, you know? So I went there, and what was cool about it was when I got a chance to go to the museum, it was really pretty cool. Let me go ahead and just turn it back to me so you guys can see what bike I have. So, where I parked my bike. Okay, so what happened, went to Museum of Natural History, and there I got a chance to have some of my cool artwork be presented at some of the places I wanted to go. So I brought a Diplodocus with me. I didn't bring an Allosaurus or nothing. I probably should. Next time I go, I'll probably bring an Allosaurus if I have time to make one. Then we have what else? It was such a good time yesterday. I have to admit, it was such a good time. Today the air pressure is getting to my head, so I am just like my head is really hurting right now. Because ever since I went to like Ecuador, I had gotten this altitude sickness thing, and I never got past it. But for the most part, that's pretty cool. It's kind of like a superhero power. I know it's going to rain, but for the most part, though, one of the things though is this: like I'm gonna like unhook my bike and then put it there for a second so you guys can see. But for the most part, though, I just want to say, hey, thank you so much for watching. It was like a really cool day yesterday. I went to Museum of Natural History, like I was saying before, and my family went there. But before that, on Wednesday, we had a class. I did my class, the sculpture class, and so what happened was that we have an Eventbrite, and so on Eventbrite, it shows when people can actually sign up and come to it. So 2 people signed up for our Eventbrite. They did the early bird special, which pretty much you should do if you want to get part of my class. Early bird special, and it's a discount ticket. So what happened was that people actually came to my class to see, and it was very good, because what happened was that I taught people the basic structure of anatomy, like in terms of like these structures, how to do these things. And instantly when I do these art things that we're doing, like for example on how to sculpt the human hand, right, and all the things about that, because I said let's start with the most difficult thing first, right? And if you can make something difficult easy, then what happens after that, you pretty much have a scenario where you make something difficult easy. It's like playing a video game on difficult. If you start your video game on super hard, and then after you play the game regularly after that, you got the skill down pat. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of one of the things. So what I'm doing is kind of taking my bike. I'm taking my bike and just kind of going to get it off of the bike rack here at the LaGuardia Airport. Yes, I work at LaGuardia Airport. Oh, this is on side. This is here. All right. Sorry about that. Gotta hold this for a second. Sorry about that. Kind of hard to do two things at the same time. Okay. So what happened was this, right? The classes were great. I got a chance to do it. Then we went through a difficult part of first using the hands. Then they sculpted a human figure, and it was great. We had a wonderful model there who was a great person, and still a great person. And so what happens is like we got a chance to do two poses, and everybody went home happy. To which I am very happy, because when the people are happy, I'm happy too. So next thing what happened was that was on Wednesday. Thursday, went to Museum of Natural History, and those of you who've ever been there, you know how wonderful a place it is. It actually is. But There's something about the place. It's a cavernous, giant cavern. It's the size of, oh my word, I don't know, the size of the airport, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's not as big as the airport, but it's definitely as vast. And the floors, oh my goodness, something about the floors, it's like a stone granite or something like that. I don't know what it is, but it gives you shockwaves in your body. Every step you take in that museum is a shockwave, right? And as a shockwave, you have this thing where it's like, goodness, hold on a second, let me think of this. I gotta get my headpiece right here. Oh goodness. All right, so hold on a second. All right, cool. I can't put this helmet on. All right, let's go and start walking. I'm gonna just not ride for a while. I'm gonna have to walk for a while. Let's go walking. All right, so I'm just pretty much walking. I got my bike here, my trusty dusty bike, and so let's go and continue to talk about some of the cool things that happen. So yeah, the museum is a wonderful place. I went there when I was 5 years old, and so I was 5 years old, first grade. With my school, we went there, and I was amazed by it. My sister, when I was 4 years old, was telling me about how awesome it was. So my sister at that time, she was like, she's 5 years older than me, so I was about 9, 10 years old. My sister was, when she was telling me about the awesomeness of the Museum of Natural History. Let me show you like me walking home. I'll flip it over so you can see. This is some of the landscape. This is the airport. This is LaGuardia Airport, right? And you can see LaGuardia Airport. And so this is like kind of here in New York. You can see the sky. The sky is all heavy clouds. And so the thing is, like, when you're walking in New York, it's like, you always have to be careful and mindful of cars on the street and also on the sidewalk. But back to the museum real quick. My sister showed me the museum, and she was the first one. My older sister was the one who gave me one of the Anatosaurs, which is kind of like a duckbill dinosaurs, And she was the one who gave that to me. And so when she did that, that really started me on the path to dinosaurs, I might have mentioned this before once or twice in my gatherings and my conversations, but for the most part, what happened was she kind of introduced me to the world of dinosaurs. I thought that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, I was wondering what my sister would have done if my sister introduced me to the world of money and how to make like financial investments and stuff. That might have been interesting, right? Maybe it would have been, I would have chose that path or something. I don't know. But I didn't know. My older sister was a big influence to me, and she's still around, so that Brett Puddin's still around. So I see her every so often. We go visit her. But anyway, so the museum was very wonderful place for me because when I went there, I had a camera and I did superimposition on the pictures. What I did was I was a 35 millimeter. Those back in the day, the 110 millimeter, 110, and I kept on rewinding it, and it did this thing where it did like a superimposition of dinosaur bones over like lizards and things like that, and it was amazing. It really was. So yeah. So let me tell you about some of the stuff though. We went there. I determined that I didn't want to just go to see the dinosaur bones because that's kind of the last thing we always see. But the first thing we wanted to do was go to where the whale is. There's a hall of that biodiversity, right? And the very bottom of it, there's a big old cavern with all the different animals together, And you have a chance where you get to see all the big blue whale, right? A full life-size blue whale, which I don't really understand if it's a life-size one. I'm not sure if it's real, by the way. Anyway, it's like a big old piece of giant plastic, but that's been there for like ever, right? And incidentally, what happens is that as I was going through the whole scenario, I saw that there was like a nice big piece of floor to lie down upon, and I've seen kids do this for like ever. And I said to myself, we never did this before, so we did this. My kids, my wife and kids and I, we just got like a nice little cozy spot, right? I'm gonna lose my scarf if I don't do this. Nice little cozy spot. And we just lie down right underneath the belly of the blue whale. And it was a big, big belly, Tie this scarf so it doesn't come apart. And so what happens is suddenly, it was such a nice time. I made like, I went and found a fish called an opa, like a OPAH type fish, and it's a big one. So I sculpted that. I might send you show you a video of that in a little bit as a short or something, one of the short videos. So you guys should get a chance to see that. But it was like one of those things where it's like, I was so glad to be able to be there and to see that. All right, there's Nasty Puddle. Oh goodness. Nasty Puddle. Oh, Nasty Puddle. Oh, gross. Okay. Praise God, it didn't splash up on me. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn a little bit here. Grab it like, I have my helmet on, that's what I did. I get hit by a car. Alright. So I'm gonna head for the sidewalk, which is, you know, yeah, so let's do, okay, cool. You know what's horrible? When you fall off a bike. That's the worst feeling ever. You know, I mean, it's so mechanical, and you have so much speed. You don't know how fast you're going until you fall off a bike. Then you realize how fast you're going. My sister influenced me to dinosaurs, and she also wanted to turn me away from it too. She said they're all dead. You'll be digging the bones. But for the most part, though, my mom, they encouraged me a lot not to give up. Not to give up, you know. Where's my keys? Why did I put everything in the same pocket? This is weird. Okay. Keys go in this pocket. The reason for that is because that way you don't get your stuff lost. But this is to make up for my live stream I didn't do yesterday. Because, you know, I could have done a live stream at the museum, and you might have liked that. But it's so much effort to get to live stream, you know? So what I found is that the best thing is just for you to just make sure that you don't like have, you just don't have because I mean, with live stream you got to be committed. You have to kind of ignore the company you're with to make a live stream. So it's kind of a better thing when you're by yourself, unless you can do like a group chat thing and talk to people. But yeah, so we were there underneath the whale. We drew pictures. I made a fish masking tape. People came up and said, "Hey, that's cool." Then after that was like, we went up to the next floor, which is the elephants. We saw the elephants. And then we went and saw the dinosaur bones. For the elephants, we sat in the room, and my kids were sitting there drawing pictures of the animals that are still, you know, which is so cool. I mean, you think about that, right? You draw animals that are stills. Oh, there's that hawk. Oh, let me show you this hawk, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this right here. There's the hawk right there. You see it? Can you see it? There it is. That big bad boy hawk right up there. You see that thing? Right there. Big old hawk. Yeah, it's a big bird. See, that's a hawk right there. Look at it, just sitting there. Let's give it a shot. Like that. That's a big bird. Look at that hawk, people. I'm gonna take a picture while I'm doing live. That'd be nice. Wow. That's a bird eater right there. Yep. And bird eat other bird. Nobody complains. Just eat chicken. People are like, don't eat that chicken. You're not allowed to eat that chicken. And so what happens is like, you know, oh, let me show you the hawk right there. See it? Right up top is the hawk. Right there. Directly above it. Right there. This is the hawk. The hawk. All right. So anyway, so let me proceed onto my ventures. Yes, I got my bag here and I got my helmet. And so, okay, so what happens is this, right? The museum was great. We did the elephants, the same elephants I saw when I was 5 years old. It's the same elephants that are there. And one of the dusts is the same because, you know, they probably dust everything. And they have to do that. But a couple places I'd never been to before, but we went to once, was the Hall of the North American Animals. That was great. That was really good. The other one was when we went to the animals, the African animals. It was great because that one there was one of those things that we actually saw like how cool the creatures are, you know? And so what makes it great is that you have this thing where the animals don't move, obviously, but you get a chance to kind of capture and you had the same moments and same feeling you had before. And so now that's kind of that's when you get used to stuff, you know? So my thought is this. We went up to see the dinosaur bones and I got pictures with the Allosaurus, which is my favorite. And then I got pictures with the T-Rex, T-Rex and the Allosaurus, then the Diplodocus. And so that was kind of the long and short of it all in terms of like our trip yesterday. We went to Ray's Pizza. Hey! Thank you, Amy! Thank you, Amy! Hey! Thank you, Amy. This is so cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yay! Yeah, I like that too. Thank you so much. We're so grateful. I'm so grateful for Amy. She's my supporter in my art. I want to encourage everybody else to support me in art too as well. And so I wouldn't be able to do any of this stuff had it not been for Amy. So thank God for Amy. Thank you, Amy. And so what happens is like we went to Ray's Pizza, and Ray's Pizza was very nice. Usually at this point I have to get off the bike and walk because it's like the hill is so crazy. It's a crazy hill right here. And so to get the right angle, you have to kind of walk up this big old hill. And it's something, let me tell you. Today is a very overcast, rainy day. It's not raining yet. They say big rain is going to come in at around maybe 3 o'clock or something. But for the most part, though, right now, it's really cold because you get a chance to actually just kind of to be in the cool air. But it's giving my head throbs, like my head is throbbing from the air pressure and the low barometric pressure of the cloud. Now, I wanted to really look into that and see if there's a way I could cure it, because they say the best way to do that is to have like tea or something, But anyway, on to the next point. We were like, I have a hard time watching the news lately, because the news lately has been something where all information is kind of like, I don't know, it's like before, I don't know what to believe, Everything sounds so sensational that when you start listening to any piece of news, it sounds like everything is just suspect. And I don't know. But I wonder if you had the same problem too, because when you're like listening to the news, do you feel as though, before it was already suspect, but now it's like even more so, because it's like, everything they say is just, they're just kind of out to get what's his name, but also, is he really doing stuff that's, people are trying out to get him, And that's one of the things where, I'm just kind of thinking about like how that works. And so for the most part though, I'm just like, man, how do you make sense of the news? Some people say you should go to a place called Ground News or something like that and get different versions of the news, so you can actually hear different takes on the same piece of news, which really sounds like a good idea. And I might just actually do that, because what happens is like I listen to a conservative news branch, or listen to a liberal news branch, or listen just to outside the nation and their liberal and things, and listen to a ton of podcasts. And what I keep finding is that I can't differentiate. Like the thing in my head that helps me decipher is like the spidey sense is kind of messed up right now, and I don't really know why. It's kind of one of those things where it's like I feel as though it's like every news is suspect. So I was listening to the confirmation hearings of the different for RFK and for Chelsea and stuff, and I don't know why these people are fighting them so much, because if they're pointing out errors, why are the people defending those errors? That's another thing too. Anyway, they could point out errors, and those were like Democrats and stuff, former Democrats. So why are they on them so much? It's like, is there really some kind of a cabal that they talk about? Because if there is, then they would just keep proving it over and over, They just keep proving that there's something that's alive there, It really is an elite class that's trying to maintain world order, do whatever it takes to do it, maintain it. My goodness. Okay, so I just gear shifted down. Gotta put gears on my thing. When you're riding, you're still kind of breezy, so that's something there. But for the most part, though, it's like, I just wanted to say, like, that's one of those things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at how these things are working. I'm so glad for the super chat. Definitely, please send super chats. Really appreciate that. Any monies that we get helps us, helps our families to live, helps us to do great things in our things, So for the most part, though, we've been talking for about 20 minutes now. I haven't gotten home yet. Just trying to get home. But yeah, see, going home from work is different than going to work. Going to work, you have the hills in my favor. Going home, I have the hills against me. And so with that, makes it quite difficult to ride a bike. Also, it's hard to ride a bike and talk at the same time, because you usually have a kind of a rhythm of breathe and think. But so that's one. The next thing too, like a lot of people at my job have been like, things have been happening. So we lost about 8 people last week at the job, and I'm just, I'm sad by the fact that how it's happening, that people are kind of like, leaving the job. I always have a feeling I'd rather have a team of people that I know with all the flaws, like a family that I like, than to get new people in to replace them and have to train them all over again. But then I see like how it is with classes and stuff, how I'm doing with the class. And then the class is like, it's one of those things where as I'm like working in the class, I get a chance to meet different people. And so that when I meet people, I get a chance to teach them something fresh, something new. But for the most part, though, it's like one of those things where, you know, if you don't meet new people, you don't have new experiences, you know? You don't have new experiences. New experiences mean that to newer things and that you have a newer world you have to deal with stuff. But I don't know. I just one of those things where it's like, as I'm sitting there thinking about this, I'm just thinking about like how, you know, change is always painful. The aspect of change, the aspect of, you know, doing something different is a very painful thing, because we kind of settle into a confusion of like, we get used to the negativity of stuff. We get used to like just falling in line with things, and because of that, we don't like, can't progress. It's kind of a trap, a comfort trap, you know. And like the boil the frog thing, you know, they talk about that. If you haven't heard the boil the frog story, it was about how he says if you throw a frog into a pot of boiling hot water, it'll jump right out immediately. But if you put it in cold water and gradually heat it up, it becomes hot, you know.
She got booted. I was like,
oh my goodness. One thing I noticed though about this whole thing with the people having to be like deported and stuff is that there has been a lot more quiet neighborhood situation. There's been more parking spots and stuff. There has been more less people in the streets. There has been, like here in New York at least, I've noticed that there's less people on the streets, less people, you know, on the bread lines, less people in the food pantry type of stuff, you know. I've noticed that, as well as well, it's not so much with the bread line stuff, but I've noticed that there's a lot less people. Like for example, one of our neighbors, they haven't been parking their bike where they normally park their bike and stuff. So we were like, that's bizarre. That's unusual, you know? And then so they talk about the whole thing with ICE and stuff. You know, we drove into Manhattan yesterday, and we had to do the congestion pricing thing, you know? And one of the things was like, you know, I wonder about that, because it's like, you have to go through the bridge to go up into the to see Museum of Natural History, right? To go from 59th Street Bridge, across 59th Street Bridge and head north, right? And so what happens is that when you do that, you have to cross one of the things going up. But you're not heading south, you're heading down into the belly of the beast, you know? Hold on, let me get past the street here real quick. Alright. Get past the street. Alright, so I'm almost home. Whew. It's a big street here. And what happens, you have to go up, so I'm wondering if they charge us twice. You know? Wonder about that. Because you have to kind of go up and then come back down. We should have passed the bridge once up and once down. You know? That'd be $18 just to go see dinosaur bones. And I don't know, I like them a lot, but you know, I'm not feeling paying $18 to see some bones. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially if I make my bones at home. Make my own bones. But anyway, so for the most part though, here we are. Something changed in the phone system. It looks weird. They can change it, transform. Let me see if I flip it, what happens. Something weird with the phone today. Don't know what it is. Oh my goodness, almost home. Alright my friends, I'm gonna end it here because I can't ride and push this. I'm just doing two things at the same time. And I really need to breathe. I really need to breathe. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, so folks, I want to thank you so much for watching my channel today. Only for 25 minutes today. And I'll tell you more stuff later. But for the most part, that was one of those things that this is like one of those things about life. That life doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. But anyway, God bless you. Talk to you soon. Be careful of the news. Check your sources. Bye bye.